What's up? What's up, Raider Nation? Thank you for joining me for another little edition of TikTok Live here. Just finished up our podcast about half an hour ago. Raider Nation Report runs every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Every Tuesday night. Just finished that up not long ago, so thought we'd jump over here, do a little TikTok Live with members of Raider Nation over here that follow us on TikTok. Do a little open forum Q&A. If you got any questions, comments, Raider related, we will take them. Silver and black related, and silver and black only. We do not even acknowledge the trolls. We don't feed trolls around here. Because when I download this video, the comments don't even go with it. So what's up? What do you think about this quarterback battle? We're knee deep in it. I think Gardner Minshew comes out in the lead after game one, in my opinion, of preseason. Antonio Pierce is on record as saying he will make a decision on the starting quarterback after this next game, shortly after this next game, and believes 2 games and the tape that they already have on these 2 is enough to make the decision. So that to be that's interesting. Taking all questions and comments Raider related. What's up? This is Raider Reaction TikTok live stream. We just finished our podcast, Raider Nation Report, about a half an hour ago. Runs for 60 minutes on Raider Reaction Sports on Facebook, Raider Reaction on YouTube, Raider Reaction on Twitch, and Raider Reaction on X. Are you guys keeping Adams? Yes, he is not going anywhere. He will be back this week. Adams is had a new addition to the family, so that's the only reason you didn't see any action or see him around this week. He's back. He's not going anywhere. That's one of the buzz stories for right now. They gotta have somebody that they're talking about. You know, some crazy trade that's never gonna fucking happen. They keep tying him back to Aaron Rodgers. They keep tying him back to Derek Carr. I don't see any of that shit happening. I kind of agree with you, Isaiah. I think Aiden O'Connell's I want Gardner Minshew. I'm not going to mix. I want Gardner Minshew. I think he's the strongest. Gives the team the most options. I think he can extend plays, like the run that he had for 7 yards this past weekend. And that shows you what he can do. I think there's a reason that they kept him out there more in the first half than they did Aiden and abandoned the switch every series. But you're right. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks go start to finish all the way through a season, so I think you need a solid number 2. And why the Peterman, says Jose. I'll tell you why the Peterman. Because you saw the rest of the depth chart underneath Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew in that game as well, and they were hot fucking garbage. And they're thinking the same thing, that you need a couple quarterbacks to make it through a season, and you're probably going to need a number 3. And these other guys don't look like they're qualified to be a number 3. So they went out and got a guy that they think can be a number 3 and is a plug and play in the system. And if you really think about it, Nathan Peterman, the Peterman, plays a lot like Gardner Minshew. He'll use his legs. He runs around. So we'll see. What's this? Bro, I want Aiden O'Connell because he has more chemistry with the receivers. I guess you can say that, but this is a completely different offense than he ran last season, so I don't think he has a leg up, honestly. So how confident am I about the Raiders this season? I have the Raiders projected at 10-7, getting into the playoffs via wild card, the number 6 seed. That's my projections for the Raiders this season. What else? By Peterman. Any other questions, comments, Raider related? Possibly. I think they're gonna have. I think they're gonna have a much easier time the first half of the schedule than the second half. If you look at it, the first half of the schedule is lined up where they could have a nice little winning streak. They've got like 4 teams in a row that are all kind of in dysfunction, that are very winnable games. That I think the defense can really lean on those teams and win. I think the second half is much more difficult. As I was saying earlier, we did just finish up our Raider Nation Report. Our official podcast is every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. It runs for 60 minutes. It airs live on Raider Reaction Sports on Raider Reaction Sports on Facebook, Raider Reaction on YouTube, Raider Reaction on X, and Raider Reaction on Twitch. So if you are interested, check it out. And then we jump over here periodically and do live streams. Typically they're on Thursday nights, but been doing a couple more because I'm trying to get a little more active as the season gets closer here. What are your thoughts on the defense? How big of a leap do you think they're going to make? I think they're a top 5 defense this season. I honestly think so. I think the best thing that I saw out of the defense this weekend was I think the 3 guys that I thought were near the top that performed the best in defense were in the secondary. I thought Moehrig played great, Jacorian Bennett played good, and Jack Jones played awesome and got a pick. And to see that 3 of the guys that showed up, I would have liked to really seen a little more of the pass rush, though. That was one thing I was kind of disappointed of out of the defense. Because you would think in preseason game 1, we got Mad Max, you got Kuntz, you got Tyree Wilson, you got Wilkins up there now. You really think you would have got more of a push, especially when you had a rookie quarterback out there at some points. That was one thing I was a little disappointed about because they kind of got walked a little bit that first drive. They did stop it on 4th down. Yeah, he concerns me, Jose. He concerns me. That's for damn sure. No, I was that first drive. I was a little disappointed. I mean, they did ultimately stop them on 4th down, but I mean, they got walked. They kind of got walked that first drive. It was a little disappointing. Yes, please share. Like homie down there said. Appreciate you. I don't do a lot of these TikTok lives. I'm usually over. I use my broadcast software. I like to put together a nice show. We've got green screen. We run videos and all kinds of shit, pictures, and we do an actual show, an actual podcast for 60 minutes. So, but I do like these forums where I can just because it's a little more informal. I can take questions and comments quicker. So I like to mix these in as well. They do keep it vanilla, Jose. That's the thing. It's hard to grade preseason. It really is because the defense isn't coming out there and showing their hand. They're not running stunts. They're not doing all the crazy shit that they're going to do during the season. They're not showing their hand in week 1 of the preseason. So you do got to kind of grade it on a curve. The offense as well. Yeah, they're not coming out there. They're not running their fucking A scheme that they're going to play in week 1 of the regular season. They're going to hide their hand a little bit. There's a little gamesmanship to it. They run very vanilla schemes on both sides of the ball. There's in the second half, it's hard to even grade the second half. It's like if you lose a game like the Raiders lost this last one, it doesn't really even matter. I mean, they were up 20-7 at half. That's kind of really where it matters. Do you think Antonio Pierce has changed the culture in this short of time? I see a difference. I see a difference too, Rich. Yeah, I do see a difference. I think that's what we all like about AP is because he talks the talk, he walks the walk. He's a guy who's been there and done it as a player. Although he's got a bit of a sketchy resume as a coach, the Raiders is really his big shot. So you really. I'm an AP guy. I'm rooting for him. I really hope this is his season to grab the brass ring as well. This is his season. We talked about grabbing the brass ring earlier when you got a guy like Sincere McCormick who gets 11 carries as a running back for the Raiders when every single running back on the depth chart, all 6 of them got touches this week and got multiple touches. All 6 of them Sincere McCormick got the most. A guy who's been around for a couple seasons, who fucked himself up as a rookie, tore some shit in like May, like the very first activities. Never even basically made it into the season. A Texas El Paso kid, and somebody they thought was really talented. They kept him around, and he had 11 carries, but he only had like 35 yards. So, you would think you got to grab the brass ring when it's there. You're given that opportunity. You don't know when you're going to get 11 touches again. Yeah, they definitely were paying attention to Mad Max in that game. That's for damn sure. AP will have a big decision this season if the offense struggles bad. Do you change OC? That's a tough one, Grim, because there's a possibility, depending on how it shakes out, do you hump a lot of that on the back of the quarterback? Is the quarterback going to be the scapegoat this season for the offensive coordinator? I mean, it's a lot of things can go left depending on how this season goes. This is a very transitional season for the Raiders. Antonio Pierce came in after a hire that should have never fucking happened. So he got a shot as a guy that you would have never really thought would have got a shot. So he backs into, now he's kind of got this really 1 year prove it deal here to really, prove that he's the guy. So you've got that. You've brought in this new offensive coordinator who's working with, basically a guy, Gardner Minshew, who's bounced around for a while, but never really been the guy anywhere. Aiden O'Connell, who got thrust into the fire last year, he's never been the guy for an NFL team, and he's basically a rookie. It's an interesting season for the Raiders, man. Thank God that I think they got a solid defense, and I think the defense is going to be the rock that they can lean on. I think there's a chance. I think it's a good chance, Wolverine, of Mad Max possibly being in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I think you can put him in there. You can put him in that conversation over the last couple seasons. I don't think he's been worthy of the award. He needs to get to the quarterback a few more times. He needs a few more of those splash plays. A drink up. But he's getting there. I think he can definitely be in that conversation. I'm rocking my Mad Max jersey tonight. Now, we talked about this earlier, Richie. I think it's interesting. A lot of, if you look across the league, because I look at the depth charts for my podcast, and what the pundits from all of the they're supposed to be the geniuses and the experts all across the league are saying, and a lot of people that projected depth chart right now and the projected depth chart coming into the season, a lot of people are sliding Madison in front of Zamir White, I've noticed, and which is, I think that may be that. I think running back is definitely a battle that will be interesting to be watched over the next couple of games as well. I think it's interesting that all 6 guys in the running back depth chart got multiple touches this game. It's definitely a position of concern, a position of need. Everybody's getting their full-on addition for the job. They realize what we've lost in Josh Jacobs, and you've got to fill that in. I mean, that's a guy 2 years removed from being the best running back in the league. I mean, that's not somebody you just plug and play and replace. What's Raiders' record this year? I got him projected at 10-7, making the playoffs as a wild card number 6 seed. That's what I got. What's my intake on Davante Adams? Well, I think Davante Adams, he's not going nowhere. He's going to be here this season. We're still waiting to see if Davante builds a great rapport with one of these quarterbacks. Or excuse me, yeah. I mean, he needs to. Does him and Gardner click and they become this great duo? We'll see. What's up, Raider Lou? What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining me. If you haven't followed Raider Reaction, give us a follow. Follow us on Raider Reaction Sports on Facebook. Join our official group on Facebook, the Raider Nation Dark Side, the official group of Raider Reaction. It's completely uncensored. There's no moderators in there. We allow Raider fans to speak on Raider topics the way they should be allowed to fucking speak on Raider topics. It is a private group. It's about 20,000 Raider fans strong. Join that sucker. We are on Twitch, Instagram, X, YouTube, and over here. So we try to give all platforms a little love. Thank you, Mr. Grumps. Appreciate you. I just got to err on the TikTok. Well, we started using TikTok last season, so I do like the TikTok platform. It's very interactive. I want to try using it more this season. I think Wilkins on the inside will help Max. Absolutely. I'm telling you, Tyree Wilson, I think, is going to surprise some people this year. I got a lot of hope in Tyree. Tyree's injury was devastating that he had to his foot. A lot of people don't understand how severe it was. The fact he made it all the way through the season, never re-injured the foot continued to get healthy all the way through, and by the end of the season, he was starting to get its explosiveness back. I'm hoping that the progression that I saw all through the season continues into this year, and he could be you get him mixing in the mix on the front too. Good Lord. Jeff, you've got the Raiders at 12-5. Hold on. Is this the Jeff I'm thinking it is? My God. I'm going 12-5, lose to the Ravens, Browns, Chiefs, Bengals. Very optimistic, Jeff. Very optimistic. 12-5, lose Ravens. I think they're losing to the Ravens too. That's the first loss I got of the season. I do have them going on a little winning streak there, though. I think with that little stretch with the Browns in there, I think they can win that game. But I can see the Browns as a game they could possibly lose. I'm losing twice to the Chiefs. I don't have them getting swept by anybody this year. I think they're going to steal one from the Chiefs again this year. They play very emotional against the Chiefs, and I think they're going to steal one. I don't think they sweep the Donkeys this year. I don't have a donkey sweep picked. The only reason I don't have a donkey sweep picked, not that I think the Donkeys are going to be anything better than they've been the last couple seasons. The only reason I don't is strictly on odds. They're just fucking due. Something fucked up's going to happen at the end of one of these games, and I think the Donkeys pull one out of their ass this season against us. We're going to get fucked somehow. Refs, a bad call. Something stupid's going to fucking happen. That's how I think they win a game this year against us. I don't know. I'm just playing the odds. That was one of my losses, that I think the Donkeys just steal one. But I think there's a possibility that I think there's a possibility of a Chargers sweep, though. I think the Sparklers are a little trouble, man. Plantar fasciitis injury is not something to fuck around with. I've had plantar fasciitis injuries over 10 to 15 years on both of my feet. And I know sometimes it's only a couple weeks and you're back to normal. And I know sometimes that bitch is about 6 months before I'm back to fucking normal. And as a quarterback, as soon as I heard that, I was just like, damn. I'm just an average fucking Joe, and I know how that bitch feels, and what the kind of treatment is to get those back to normal. And if he has any problem with it still at the beginning of the season, I guarantee you that's something that's going to lag, and it's almost like turf toe. It's just one of them injuries that if you come back a little early, then and you fucking fuck with it, it's like hammies. You don't wait long enough, then you come back and you tweak it again, then you're waiting again. And then your waiting period just keeps shoving along, and you're just chasing the bitch all season long. It's one of them type of injuries. Foot injuries are rough. They suck. So I think they're going with Minshew? I think, looking at it as a horse race right now, I think Minshew's the lead horse right now. He's leading the race right now. He's ahead a little bit. I think the game that Minshew brought, the one run that he had, I think he brought a little bit of excitement, and they wanted to keep that on the field. I'm pulling for Minshew to start. He's a guy he's had some flashes. He's had some little flashes of greatness here and there. He's bounced around. It's team number 4. Dude, this is what you brought in. Roll with the fucking guy. He's a veteran that's never really had a shot. Not as to be the guy. He's not had a team that said you're the guy. So let's see. Because, you can. Aiden's right there. There's a good possibility you're going to need him before the season's over anyway. You're still developing him. That's an easy spin. So I'm pulling for Minshew right now. But you know what? If Aiden comes out and has an amazing game in this next preseason game, I think he could pull back in the lead and steal it back from Minshew if he doesn't look that good. But if Minshew looks as good as he looks this last game, I think he takes it. JDM, I have our record at 10-7. I think the Raiders make the playoffs as a wild card. 10-7, the number 6 seed. How many points do you think we're going to average? That's a good question. I'll take about 3 or 4 more minutes of questions, and then I'm going to jump off here. But that's a good question. I think points are going to. It depends on who the quarterback is. Depends on who the quarterback is. Depends on the scheme that they're going to use. I'm concerned about the offense. The offense is my biggest concern. I think the defense is going to drag other teams' scores down this season. That's how I think the Raiders are going to be able to steal more games than people think they might be able to steal, is because I think the score is going to be down. I would 20, 21, 22. I think the Raiders are going to average somewhere around that. I think they're going to need defensive help. I don't think you're going to see a lot of games in the 30s. I think you're going to see a lot of 24 games, a lot of 20-point games, a lot of 21-point games. Those, I think, the type of games the Raiders are going to have to win. Maybe some 17-14 games where you're dragging shit out with a top 5 defense, smacking another team around, handing you some turnovers, handing you some short fields, making it easy on your offense. I don't know how dynamic an offense the Raiders are going to have with either one of these quarterbacks at the helm. I'm trying to be realistic. I just didn't see it last year when Aiden came in that, all of a sudden this is an offensive juggernaut that puts up a ton of points. I know you got the Chargers game. That game was just fucking fun. This is one of them games you just back into and it's silly. But that doesn't happen every week. That was an anomaly. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting week to see how the quarterbacks are played again this week. I do not want Prescott. No. Absolutely not. Especially, I wouldn't even consider it this late in the game. Not this late in the game in the season. You've painted yourself in the corner that you're in. At this point in the season, you're rolling with what you've got. You can't make the last second change now. Because if you're doing that, you're basically saying we fucked off this whole off season. No, I don't want fucking Prescott. Fuck that guy. Oh, that tells me, Antonio. That tells me a lot. That's why I think Gardner is the. You can look at that both ways, I guess. Do you think he's protecting the guy, and like, okay, I've seen enough of you. You're my starter, or do you think he's like, oh, okay, well, you can look at that both ways. How do you want to spin it? Depends on which side of that coin you want to debate. Let's see. I got 1 more minute here. I'll take a couple more. Yes, Devontae's not going anywhere. He's staying here this season. At least this season. Next season, that's a different conversation. Okay, that's how you were looking at it. Okay. I got you, Antonio. So you're looking at it from that spin. I'm kind of looking at it from the other spin. That they had said, because they had stated before the game that both were going to get equal time. Were they that impressed with Aiden's performance? Did that just lock him in, that one drive? We'll see. Running back number one is up for conversation for me still, Jesse. I think Madison has a possibility to steal it. He had 700 yards rushing last year, over 150 yards receiving. He's been in the league 5 years. I think he's a more diverse back than Zamir, so we'll see. I think that's an interesting battle too. I don't think it's decided. I don't think you would start a quarterback and switch a quarterback unless there's an injury. I don't think you plan that. You pick a guy and you hope they make it all the way through the season. I think that's how you got to roll. You can't do that. You plan for a backup quarterback is a contingency plan for injury. They can't be figured in your game plan. You pick a number one quarterback and you go with him. Cross your motherfucking fingers they can make it from the fucking starting line to the finish line of the season, but that's your guy. You can have contingency plans behind him, but they can't be figured in your game plan. You're hoping whoever you pick to start week one is your fucking guy all the way through. You're riding him. You're going to ride the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of this quarterback, because you got to understand, if Aiden O'Connell is the starter, he's never been the starting quarterback of an NFL season from week one all the way through. So he's gonna have ups and he's gonna have downs, and you're gonna have to ride it with him. Gardner Minshew has never had a team hand him the ball to be the guy from start to finish of an NFL season. So he's gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have to ride it with him. So whichever one of these guys they shove under center and he's QB1, I hope they're ready to ride with him, ride or die, through this season and give them the shot. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see a fucking quarterback carousel, no quarterback controversy. Pick a number one, pick a number fucking two, pick a number fucking three who's probably Nathan the Peterman, and then go with it. But whatever you go with, commit to it, and then address it in the offseason and make changes accordingly. Don't create controversy. Don't create drama. Do the best you can with the decision that you made and stick with it. That's my final fucking word. Thank you all for joining me tonight, man. I appreciate you all. Oh, Jeff, last thing on those guys. They are supposed to be back within the week. Colton Miller and Jackson Powers Johnson, the fucking law firm, are all supposed to be back within the next week. So that's nice as well. Both those guys are coming back. So I'm out. Thank you all for joining me. Appreciate you all. Make sure to check out our weekly Raider podcast, Raider Nation Report. It airs for 60 minutes at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night. It's on Raider Reaction Sports on Facebook, Raider Reaction on YouTube, X, and Twitch. And our Fantasy Football podcast is on Wednesday nights. So if you want to tune in for that tomorrow night, same channel, different day. Wednesday nights are Fantasy Football nights. So I'm out. Peace, love, Raider Nation.